Persuasion is an art. Great speakers throughout time have been able to change their audience's mind and even move their audience to action through the art of persuasion. This art was first observed and summarized thousands of years ago by the Greek philosopher Aristotle. He believed that the truly effective speaker or writer appealed to three things when giving information to an audience or reader. These three things, ethos, logos, and pathos, can be used together to make a great argument. Let's go ahead and take a look at each one. The first is ethos, also pronounced as ethos. Ethos can be remembered as referring to the experts. The persuader or author can be the expert, and he can pull in other experts to validate the argument. The author can establish authority, credibility, and trustworthiness. The author must be thoughtful, fair, and respectful of opposing views. To establish ethos for your paper, do your research on the topic, then prove your knowledge and expertise. Refer to other established ethos experts in the field. If you're arguing politics, quote a former president who's well respected. If you are persuading someone to try a certain new food, talk to other people who've tried it and also liked it. Cite quotes and ideas from famous people, those of high status within a specific field of study, or those who have experience with the topic. The persuader's own professionalism, grammar, vocabulary, and accuracy in citing sources also establishes ethos. Now let's go ahead and talk about logos. This is the logical reasoning, facts, rationale. It is the academic approach to making decisions, often utilizing charts, data, statistics, and other proof. Logos refers to the evidence you use to prove your argument. The best arguments are organized and lay out the argument reason by reason to create a flow of ideas that your listener or reader can follow. Finally, we have pathos, which appeals to the personal emotions of the reader. This is the description, the details. This is the opportunity to relate to the reader. The persuader could share stories that appeal to the values and beliefs of his audience, find commonalities, and have a conversation with the reader. Word choice is an essential part of pathos, since the words you choose can be used to tie all of your research together into one bundle that your listener or reader can understand. As a review, consider how each of these appeals can be used when writing a persuasive argument. Who are the experts on your topic? How can you establish credibility for yourself as the author? What reasons will convince your listener or reader to understand your point of view? How can you organize these reasons so your audience can follow the logic? Finally, how will you relate to your audience? What stories or experiences can you share that will evoke emotion? Again, persuasion is an art. Consider how you will artistically weave ethos, logos, and pathos into your argument. To really understand logos, ethos, and pathos, let's start with a real-life example. So here we have a mother who is trying to convince her kids to eat their veggies. Starting with ethos, the mother might appeal to an expert. The expert, when it comes to child's nutrition, is his doctor. The doctor says, "Eat your veggies." A smart mother might also use logos or hard evidence to convince her kids to eat healthy. She might teach her kids about the food pyramid. The food health world has moved away from the pyramid shown, but this one might appeal to the kids' logic because it shows that if you eat right, you will have the energy you need to play and have fun. This cause and effect is something kids can understand and appreciate. Finally, the mother might use pathos or personal emotions to convince her kids to eat their veggies. She might talk about the starving kids in Ethiopia who would love to have veggies to eat. She could also say, "Big kids eat their veggies. We know all kids love the feeling of being big." In fact, mother could mix ethos, logos, and pathos to her argument by saying, "According to your doctor in the food pyramid, veggies will help you grow healthy and strong. Do you want to be healthy and strong?" The strongest arguments are going to use a combination of the appeals. A persuasive argument also considers the audience. How would this mother's argument change if she was trying to convince her teenager to eat her veggies? Consider these combinations and your audience as we look at another argument. This one is a personal story. My husband wanted a grill. I figured we could spend $100 or so to buy a basic grill. No, 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 no. He wants a smoke hollow 4-in-1 grill. Grilling, barbecuing, searing, or smoking. This grill will do it all for a whopping $350. So here is his argument. First, he hit the ethos. He says, your dad has this grill, and he swears it is the best. What better expert could my husband cite than my dad, who I see as the grilling master? Here is his logos. When you're in a hurry, you want to use gas, but when you're looking for flavor, the charcoal is the best. Plus, we need something to smoke all that fish we brought from Alaska. We could buy each unit separately, but it will cost us less to buy this grill with it all in one. Now, in case I wasn't already convinced, he brought on the pathos. He used both pity and guilt. He says, I worked so hard to build that big deck. Don't you think I deserve a big grill to go with it? That one didn't work on me. So he said, if I have a really nice grill, I will most likely use it more often and cook for the family throughout the summer. Less meals for me to cook? Now, that sounds very appealing. So you can use ethos, logos, and pathos to convince something else to do something or to get something you want. You can also use this knowledge about persuasion as a way to not get fooled. Let's say you're going to buy some brand new kitchen knives. Would you buy a knife that Rachel Ray, an expert chef, said is the best? What about logic? Isn't there logic in buying a set of knives right now since this deal won't last forever? Media uses numbers and deadlines to catch us. Finally, what if they sold knives with pink handles to support breast cancer? Perhaps you know a breast cancer survivor. You should buy a set for you and for that warrior of a woman. Knowing how advertisers reel you in will prevent you from being duped. You now know the rhetoric tools that are being used against you. As a review, let's consider how each of these appeals can be used against you as well as when writing a persuasive argument. Who are the experts on this topic? How has the author established credibility for him or herself as the author? What reasons will convince the listener or reader to understand the point of view? How are the reasons organized so the audience can follow the logic? Finally, how did the author or how will you relate to your audience? What stories or experiences are shared that evoke emotion? Persuasion's an art. How will you artistically weave ethos, logos, and pathos into your arguments? It's time to check our understanding. Let's go ahead and consider the following statement. Smoking is harmful based on the evidence that cigarette smoke contains over 4,800 chemicals, 69 of which are known to cause cancer. Would this be an example of ethos, logos, or pathos? Notice that the statement uses specific numbers as evidence. Numbers are sound and logical. As a researcher, your job is to find statistics and offer other facts to back up your claims. When you do this, you are appealing to your audience with logic or logos. Now we're going to go ahead and adjust the previous statement. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, smoking is harmful based on the evidence that cigarette smoke contains over 4,800 chemicals, 69 of which are known to cause cancer. So now the full statement is not only an appeal to logos, but with the addition of the bolded information, did we include ethos or did we include pathos? Do you think facts from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention would be reliable? They are considered the experts in the field, so of course we are going to trust this source. Also, by correctly citing the information in the text, we have established the author of the argument as an APA professional. We can now trust this author to provide us with the reliable information we need to learn more. Remember, even if you write an academic paper on a topic that is outside your area of expertise, you can improve your own credibility as a researcher by coming across as a professional. by citing credible sources and by making your writing error-free and concise. The addition of the lead-in and citation information just establish expertise, reliability, trustworthiness, and credibility, also known as ethos, for this argument. What information could be added to this argument to appeal to the audience personally? How could we relate to the reader's emotions? What pathos appeals could we use? Pause the video now if you need a minute to write down a few ideas. Go ahead and check out the way these advertisers use pathos in their arguments. This argument states that tobacco is more of a threat than terrorism. Terrorism is an emotionally charged word. That is how these writers appealed to pathos. Now go ahead and look at this sweet little girl. Those bright blue eyes full of wonder and hope for the future. Oh wait, these advertisers are saying smoking is a form of child endangerment. This one makes smoking very personal. Not only are smokers killing themselves, they are killing me with their use of tobacco. As a final review, consider how each of these appeals can be used when writing a persuasive argument. Who are the experts on your topic? How can you establish credibility for yourself as the author? What reasons will convince your listener or reader to understand your point of view? How can you organize these reasons so your audience can follow the logic? Finally, how will you relate to your audience? What stories or experiences can you share that will evoke emotion? Again, persuasion is an art. How will you artistically weave ethos, logos, and pathos into your argument?